Hey everybody, it's GauntletX and welcome back to another premiere draft of the Core Sets format. This is the draft format with M19 as Pack 1, followed by M20 in Pack 2, and M21 in Pack 3, the three most recent Core Set formats. So some pretty general gameplay in this format, definitely basic Core Set kind of stuff. Draft your removal spells highly, just pick the best cards in each color, not anything particularly crazy in terms of archetypes, synergies, anything like that. You can do like blue-white flyers, red-black sacrifice, a lot of the basic stuff. Here for our pick one, pack one, we have a few options. We have Lich's Caress if we want to take a just powerful mono-colored removal spell. Leaves us the most open, and it's always going to make the cut if we end up in black. Other than that, actually, I guess there's only really two options. I think it's Lich's Caress or Chromium. Obviously, Chromium is a much more specific card. We have to be white, blue, and black, and we have to have 7 mana to cast this thing. However, the impact that this card has on the game is absolutely insane. It is a 7/7 flash flying, can't be countered. So you flash it out, eat their best creature with a block with a 7/7, and then you even can discard cards to turn it into a 1/1 with hexproof until end of turn to save it from a removal spell from your opponent, or just make it a 1/1 unblockable for some reason. If they're only at 1 life and they have plenty of flying blockers, that's a thing you can do. So with Chromium as our first pick, that is an incredibly powerful card if we can draft a deck that can consistently cast it. So I think we're going to go pretty hard on that strategy and try to make sure that it's going to be easily castable. And, you know, at that rate, I might even take a Meandering River here. Although this might wheel, this would really help towards casting Chromium. If we're going to be a 3-color deck, we're going to want to take dual lands in our colors pretty highly. And there's nothing else in here that's incredibly good in our colors. I think Aviation Pioneer, solid. Starcrowned Stag is very good in an aggressive deck, but Chromium is going to lend itself a lot better to a more controlling deck. So if we're taking a creature here, I think we're taking Pioneer or Doom Dissenter. Maybe I'll just go Pioneer here. I feel Meandering River should generally wheel, so that is the hope there. But we do definitely want to take those dual lands pretty highly, but maybe not pick 2 levels of highly, because generally, hopefully, fingers crossed, those kind of cards will wheel. Maybe somebody's trying to do something 5-color, though, and we won't see the return of that Meandering River. Now we have Aerial Engineer, 4 mana for a 2/4. As long as you control an artifact, it's a 4/4 flyer, so we'll have to draft artifacts highly for this, but if we do, a 4 mana 4/4 flyer is pretty great. Shieldmare could be solid here, a 2/3. When it comes into play, we gain 3 life, and whenever it becomes the target of something, we gain 3 life. So good in a defensive deck with just high toughness for its cost and gaining us some life when we play it. I think it's probably between these two. Aerial Engineer is going to be harder to draft around, but Shieldmare requiring double white is a little bit difficult to cast, but hopefully we can get a lot of duels. Drillmaster, great for an aggressive deck, but we're unlikely to be aggressive. And cards like Disperse and Macabre Waltz we can probably just take later. Yeah, Engineer or Shieldmare here. I'll go with an Engineer. We'll see if we can get some artifacts here. If we do get some artifacts, we're looking for cards like Manalith probably that can help ramp into Chromium, as well as fix our mana for a 3-color more controlling deck. This pack seems solid here. Diamond Mare is a bit awkward for us because we're gonna be 3 colors, so it's unlikely to gain a ton of life, but it's still a 2 mana 1/3 we can always cast no matter what colors we're stuck on. And that's just a decent early game blocker. Almost always gains a few life. Seems good for a controlling deck, and it's an artifact for the Aerial Engineer. So that seems good to me in multiple ways. Angel of the Dawn, great for an aggressive deck. And if we just want some evasive cards, Aven Windmage and Skymarch Bloodletter are both solid. Probably between like Bloodletter and Diamond Mare for me here, because Bloodletter does gain some life, which is kind of important for us. I think I'm going to take Diamond Mare, and we're just going to really go after a specific strategy here and just take cards that synergize with the other things we've taken so far. So Diamond Mare to work with Engineer, and really going for Esper to go with Chromium. Really want to just do something different this time around and just go for it. Explosive Apparatus could be okay here. It's another artifact to work with the Aerial Engineer, and it's kind of a weak removal spell, but a removal spell nonetheless, being able to do 2 to any target. That could be okay here, or we could take like a Lifelinker in black for the early game, or a Wall of Mist to sit there and block things for quite a while. Like Wall of Mist or Explosive Apparatus here. Wall of Mist might even wheel though, and that would be good. Skyscanner's probably going to be great here. Another artifact to go with Aerial Engineer. It's very easy to cast. It's a 1/1 flyer that draws us a card, just goes into any deck. Very solid card there. Gallant Cavalry and Angel of the Dawn, both good in aggressive decks. Dwarven Priest would be pretty solid for this deck, a high toughness creature that gains some life when we play it. But I'm going to take Skyscanner. Just very easy to cast in combos with the Aerial Engineer. A lot of blue-red duels, unfortunately. Those don't really help us with our Chromium 3-color deck. We do have Diamond Mare, but I think that's it for our life gain right now to go with the Epicure of Blood. But we will be black and white most likely, so Epicure could maybe do some things. We already have Explosive Apparatus, Diamond Mare, and Skyscanner towards the Aerial Engineer, so I don't know how I feel about taking another mediocre artifact like Explosive Apparatus. I think I will take the Epicure. We might get some things to combo with that in black and white. Walking Corpse or Uncomfortable Chill. Both pretty filler. Walking Corpse going to be a decent little chump blocker or trader in the early game, and Uncomfortable Chill potentially getting a 2-for-1 on our opponent if they attack us with a 2/2 into our 2/2, turn into a 0/2 and draw a card can be a good time. Yeah, we're kind of controlling here, so we could use this to also just stave off some damage. Take that Uncomfortable Chill here. And now we'll just take like a Hired Blade, I guess, over the big old 6-mana 3/7 Vigilance. This can like flash in and trade off with something early. We want to have early blockers to stop aggressive decks. We already have a great 7-mana card, so we don't have too much room for high mana costs. Is this pick 10? Is this where that Meandering River was? Did somebody take Meandering River from me? That's brutal. Somebody did. Who done it? Who took my dual land? I'm mad now. I'm very angry now. They didn't take Highland Lake, though. Nobody wants Highland Lake. Wow. Well, I'm sorry, Chromium, but you're going to be real hard to cast here. Alright, well, at this point, I'm just going to first pick any duels I see in our color scheme. So it looks like we're going to be blue-black at our core, splashing in white. Important to keep in mind. If we can do that, that is what we're leaning towards here with the colors that we're seeing. Last pick, Brawl Bash Ogre. That's kind of crazy. What is the best card out of this pack? Probably Pacifism, just good cheap removal. I know I did just say that white is our splash color, but Pacifism is a fine splash as well, only requiring 1 white mana to cast it, and we can play it later in the game and it'll still be solid. I think Pacifism's the pick here, but Scholar of the Ages is another great late game card. Returning 2 instants and sorceries from your grave to your hand can be a very big value swing. Just gonna go with Pacifism for now, though. We do have the white-black dual land here, which would be great with Chromium, but Atemsis All-Seeing is very, very powerful. It's also very hard to cast. 3 blue and 3 more for a 4/5 flyer. That's already great. It also has a very good ability allowing you to draw 2 and discard a card if for whatever reason it can't attack in. Maybe it gets pacified, then it can just sit there drawing cards, which is still great. I think this card is just immensely powerful and it's probably worth taking over the dual land, but we're going to have some mana issues with this deck, I can already tell you. Now we have a Winged Words is probably the best card, just 3 mana, draw 2 at worst, and if you have some flyers out, it's a bit cheaper. Other than that, we could take like a Yoked Ox for a decent blocker, or a Steadfast Sentry for getting aggressive. Not much going on in this pack. Definitely going to take a Winged Words. I'm definitely looking for powerful removal spells, preferably black ones like Murder and Lich's Caress sort of cards. Those are like the #1 cards I'm looking for here. We only have a Pacifism for just hard removal, and then we have Explosive Apparatus, which can only kill small creatures, so we're pretty low on removal for a slower, more controlling deck right now. Definitely feels like our biggest miss here is between removal spells and mana fixing. So we don't have many great enter the battlefield effects. We really just have Aviation Pioneer and Skyscanner right now for ETB effects for Yarok's Wave Crasher. So I kind of want to just take Gorging Vulture here, just keep a lot of flyers going. It definitely helps with the winged words, make that cheaper more often, and we can go for just like a flying evasive creatures deck. Anything in the sideboard we can use? No, Ghost Form's not really playable. We now have a late game Frilled Sea Serpent, but we already have Atemsis and Chromium at the high mana cost slots. So we have some exceptional cards up there, so I don't think those are very replaceable. I kind of think I want to just take a Griffin Protector then, just a 4 mana 2/3 flyer. Whenever you play a creature, it gets +1/+1 until end of turn. So it often attacks as a 3/4 flyer. And it seems fine. There's also Soul Salvage, which could be good later in the game. And I guess we're more likely to have black as one of our heavier colors than white, but I don't know. It's another flyer. I like the sort of flying theme that we're going for now. Anticipate's going to be really good in this kind of... Excuse me. Anticipate is going to be really good in this kind of deck because we can use it to try to dig towards whatever color of mana we need. We get to dig 3 cards deep if we're missing a certain color, and even if that color isn't in the top 3, we're now 3 cards closer to it because we got all 3 of those cards out of the way, and maybe the next card on top is whatever color we're looking for. So it can be definitely helpful in these 3-color kind of decks. I am low on removal, so maybe we take a Bone Splinters here, but I don't have great things to sacrifice. I guess we have Doom Dissenter and Aviation Pioneer, probably the best cards to sacrifice, but we'll probably actually have to sacrifice something decent to kill something with this, so it's not ideal, but the other cards in our color require multiple copies of them, and that's just impossible in this format. I do like the 2 mana 2/2 Lifelinker, but I also like Spectral Sailor, drawing cards throughout the game if it stays on the board. I think I'll go with the Spectral Sailor here. I kind of want to be heaviest into blue with Atemsis being such a difficult mana cost, requiring triple blue there. Let's see what we get now. Probably Gorging Vulture, because it's that or the thing that wants a lot of multiples. We have seen like 3 of these, though, so if nobody else took them, we could end up with 3 Foot Soldiers. Seems a little risky, though, to rely on nobody else having taken any of them. I do really like Scoured Barrens here. We finally get a single dual land, at least, for this deck, which is pretty important towards casting Chromium. I'm actually very happy to pick up a Blood Burglar here as well. 2 mana, that is a 2/2 with lifelink during your turn. And Feral Abomination, I suppose, but we're not super likely to play it with the other powerful 6 mana cards that we have. We may end up just being like blue-black, splashing in just Chromium and Pacifism. Like we might even drop the Aerial Engineer out of here. I'm not going to take Foot Soldier because now I'd only end up with like 2 of it. So I'll take a Swiftwater Cliffs. Just in case I all of a sudden want to go like 5 color. Maybe we see a Golos. I don't even remember what set that's in, but we could find out if it is in the last pack. Well, we could have had 2 Foot Soldiers, but I don't think I would play it unless we had 3, 4. What do we have now? Brash Taunter is very powerful, but it is in red, so not gonna happen. I guess we have a Swiftwater Cliffs if we want to splash in every color under the sun, but I think there's pretty powerful options that are just in our core colors here. We have Gourmand and Aven Gagglemaster. White is looking like more of a splash than black, so I think Gourmand is probably the pick here. 6 mana for a 5/5 Flying Trample. We do have to sacrifice a creature to play it, but hopefully we have some leftover early game creatures, like a 2/2 or a 3/2 or something. Even just the Sky Scanner is a great card to sacrifice. And for that cost, we get a 5/5 Flying Trample and make our opponent sack a creature. Pretty solid card. I'll throw it in here definitely before I throw in a Feral Abomination. What is this? Create a 4/4 Angel if you have 7 life more than your starting total. That doesn't seem particularly likely in this deck. We have a little bit of lifelink. That could maybe go off, but it's pretty unlikely here. So I think we just have to take Grasp of Darkness, a very solid removal spell. definitely heavy enough into black to play this. 2 mana for an instant speed, -4/-4 is just pretty great. Tranquil Cove seems very solid here, but there's also Teferi's Protege for a way to just keep drawing and discarding. Rambunctious Mud is kind of main deckable. Artifact Enchantment Hates. I think that's basically it for us. Maybe a Meteorite to help cast Chromium by adding a mana of any color, but definitely Tranquil Cove for now. I think these are the first cards I want to cut here. Griffin Protector, Aerial Engineer. If we cut that, we're going to want to cut probably Explosive Apparatus. So I'm going to scooch the first cuts over there. Make us more of just blue-black, throw Pacifism into a late game slot here, just splashing it off of these duels alongside Chromium. See if there's anybody in the pod that I know. Nope. Alright, what now? Another Grasp of Darkness, that seems pretty great to me. Yeah, definitely the best option in here, just a great efficient removal spell. There's like Sanguine Indulgence. Fine value in the late game, picking up a couple cards. Gale Swooper, good in an aggressive white deck, but white is our lowest represented color, and we're not very aggressive. Maybe Vidalian Arcanist to help cast our instants and sorceries a little cheaper or something, but nah, I think it's Grasp of Darkness by far here. Now, what do we have? Blue and black, not much, just another 2-mana 2/2 Walking Corpse here, but I suppose we'll take it. I don't really want to splash to secure the scene. I guess it does just turn literally anything into a 1/1, and a 1/1 is just almost nothing. This can kill Planeswalkers as well. Maybe that's worth the splash. How many 2-mana creatures do I have? 1, 2, 3. I only have 4 right now. Kind of do want a lot to block in the early game. Yeah, I want to keep my white splash as light as possible, but at the same time, Walking Corpse is very replaceable. We'll probably even get another card like that. Yeah, like we could just take a Mass Blackguard here if we want another one of those. But I'm probably taking a Gourmand here. Cut the Apparatus. We've got 2 lands in here. This is a 24-card deck. Now we're a 23-card deck. And throw a Gourmand in, cut a Griffin Protector. We're a 23-card deck again with 17 lands. We may even be an 18-land deck because we do really want to hit these 6-7 mana cards. A lot of them are quite powerful. There's nothing we're going to play here, I think. Definitely not a Mind Rot deck, so maybe a Gale Swooper just because we have a lot of flyers, but probably not. Fetid Imp seems pretty awesome for us. I think that might be my favorite here. 1/2 flyer that can gain Death Touch until end of turn as well. Just a very good blocker at any point in the game. Probably cut Uncomfortable Chill at this point. Not going to play a Gloom Sower. Probably not going to play a Wishcoin Crab either, but I guess it's more likely. I don't have anything at 4 mana right now. Would I prefer a Wishcoin Crab to an Epicure of Blood? Probably, actually. It's just cheaper, and Epicure's not really draining much life or anything. We'd rather have just slightly higher toughness so that it takes longer to kill us, gives us more time to draw like 6-7 mana cards. I don't know. I don't know if we want 2 Wishcoin Crabs. Yeah, I'm fine with a Mutt here, but I'm probably not playing it. It is double white, so it is hard. We might actually play a Meteorite. That's actually a thing that could happen. Like potentially we kill a creature. It only does 2 damage to something, so at turn 5, there won't always be something small enough to kill with that. But potentially kill something, and then now you have all the mana you need for your Atemzis or Chromium. That could definitely be helpful in this deck. Could be ideal. We'll see. Actually, maybe cut a Secure the Scene for that meteorite. Though I suppose we do have a lot of creatures now, probably more than we need for any non-aggro matchup. So you'd probably rather just cut a Walking Corpse and throw Secure the Scene back in. See what we end up playing against a lot. I feel like my first draft of this format, I did play against a lot of very good like Boros aggro decks, but I haven't run up against a ton of like super aggressive decks since then. So probably don't need so many of these early game creatures. Yeah, we have 16 creatures here, and we're a more controlling deck, so I don't even think we need that many. Could see cutting a Walking Corpse or a Hired Blade. These are the weakest creatures we have, I feel. We've got Double Grasp, Bone Splinters, Pacifism, Meteorite, and we're going to throw in a Secure the Scenes. I think I cut a Hired Blade, keep the creature curve a little bit lower, and throw in Secure the Scene. How is our mana looking? 12 black symbols, 7 blue symbols, and 3 white symbols. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We have 8 blue symbols. Why are you saying 7? Are you miscounting, Arena? 1. Oh, that's just the number. Oh, where's the symbols? Yeah, I guess that's just the number of each. I thought it was the symbols. I could have sworn. All right, well, 12 black cards, 7 blue cards, 3 white cards. But yeah, our blue requires a triple blue on a Temsis, and we need to factor that in. We've got 7 blue sources right now, 7 black sources, 5 white sources. That seems overkill. Definitely cutting at least 1 plains here. Maybe even 2, go down to 3 white sources. Nah, 4 is probably good. We have a Meteorite as well, though. Yeah, no, I'm going to cut down to 3 white sources plus Meteorite. That's 4 white sources, so essentially 10 cards in on average is when we'll have white mana. We draw 7 cards to start off the game. That's 3 turns into the game on average. We'll have a white source. And we can wait until the later game for those games where we don't have our white mana on turn 3. Like, we don't need the white mana till like turn 6 to try to drop down Chromium. So we have extra land drops to help get to there. I feel like the black mana is really important for Grasp of Darkness, but also for a Temsis, we want a lot of blue. So do we just add in 1 more island, 1 more swamp here? Probably. Do really want double black for Grasp, Gourmand. We have a lot of black cards generally as well, but I think we keep just as many blue sources as black sources just so a Temsis is actually castable. This is a deck, that's for sure. It is a pile of magic cards from the most recent 3 core sets. We'll see if it's actually functional as we head into round 1 here. As always, links in the description to skip to whatever round you want to skip to if you want to get past all of the loading times and wait times in the queues. I do keep it in the description rather than the time bar, though, because it does contain spoilers for how many games it ends up being, so you can do the math there on how well the deck did in general. No blue mana here, and we don't do anything till turn 5. Yeah, it's a mulligan. We have all of our colors now. I think we got to get rid of a Gourmand and just play defensively with this Pacifism Diamond Mare. Probably Diamond Mare on blue, because we have a lot more blue cards than white cards. Well, after I just said I haven't been running up against that many that aggressive decks in this format, we do immediately run up against another Boros aggro deck for the first time in several drafts for me, I think. They can spend 2 mana to buff it and kill the Diamond Mare. Don't think we block then. Although that would have gotten them to soak up their mana into that rather than playing another creature. They play an Onaki Ogre here. Kind of think we have to play a Walking Corpse now so we can trade into that Ogre. Maybe should have went Diamond Mare on white here. Or on white, on black here. We have drawn into a second black card now. Another Pack Mastiff? Oh dear. That's a Fire Breathing effect actually going to be pretty nasty on those now. Fire Breathing both of them. We're at 13 here. Even if I draw land off of Winged Birds, I can't immediately cast Pacifism because I can only play one land per turn. Sort of have to just pacify one here, I think. Which is painful. They have enough mana to buff twice, so we're taking 4 a turn down to 9. If they spend all their mana on that. Okay, just spend 2 on that. That means they're playing another creature, though, which is not a good sign. Seasoned Hallowblade. Pretty incredible, aggressive creature. Obviously, it sees constructed play, so it's pretty top tier. Drop a Winged Words here to draw 2 and gain 1 life. See what we hit here. We do hit a Temsis with the 6th mana for it next turn. That is going to be very helpful. We can Grasp of Darkness to kill the Hallowblade, and it can't even get indestructible out of that. So we could block Hallowblade, and then when they discard a card to save it, just Grasp it to put them down a card here, as well as kill that. If they don't discard a card, I think we'll accept the trade. They do discard a card here, so I think I will Grasp that. And they're going to double pump the Pack Mastiff to hit for 4 here. We're down to 7, but we gain 1 life off of a Temsis thanks to Diamond Mare. And we do have a 4/5 blocker now. Gourmand is pretty terrible with Pacifism, unfortunately, but that is the one card in our deck that does not combo well with our Gourmand. So I think they're still worth running generally. If they hit 1 more red mana, they can triple pump the Pack Mastiff and make it a 5/2 until end of turn, and they can attack into a Temsis. We definitely can't attack in here, so I think we're going to be using this effect to draw 2, discard 1. We're going to be doing that a lot, so I'm going to hold on to these lands probably. Actually, no, we draw 2, discard this 1 island. It's probably good to get a land out here, because we could potentially be trying to cast a bunch of spells in 1 turn. No attacks in, but Magmud is going to start chipping away at us, so we are hoping to draw something good with a Temsis as quickly as possible. Bone Splinters is okay, but not that helpful. We don't have many creatures right now. Pretty bad draws there. Going to 7 off of Magmut. Still got some time. I guess we can Bone Splinters away their Magmut, so we're not taking damage off of that, but then we still like 1-for-1 block there. If they play a Mountain, a Temsis trades for the Mastiff, and Scorch Spitter's going to keep hitting us. Yeah, I don't think Bone Splinters is great here, and definitely neither is Gourmand. And we can't attack in. Still play the land, because we've got another one to discard here. And I can definitely see a lot of situations where we need to cast 2 spells in 1 turn if we draw, 2 good things off of this and then draw another good thing off the top. That is definitely a possible case scenario. All right, pass turn. Let's go again. Spectral Sailor is actually sweet here. Yeah, that's so good. Cast this during the end step and then draw a card here. We even gain a life thanks to the Diamond Mare. That's massive. Oh, they're just going to scoop him up because now we're drawing 2 off of Temsis plus 1 off Spectral Sailor. Bit of a preemptive concession from our opponent, in my opinion, but it did seem like we were finally maybe getting the cards to really stabilize there and get there. A Temsis was phenomenal there, showing that even if you're not using a Temsis as just a large flying attacker, that optional effect, you can hold it up for a blocker and still just keep drawing cards every turn. So Really good stuff from Atemzis. That was a scary matchup. Didn't get to play around with our Chromium that game, but we did get to play around with our second best big balmy flyer. Maybe even just as good because of that draw ability. That's just so insane. The mana's not ideal, but we have our most important colors. Obviously, white is the splash, so I think we'll keep this. We get the Sky Scanner to draw into stuff, and Gorging Vultures should gain us a point of life or two. Opponent starts with a Greenwood Sentinel. We've got a Meteorite, so in the late game we can just shoot that away and get a mana of any color off of Meteorite. Opponent just naturally goes Forest Island Mountain for the Teamer deck. Grasp of Darkness is coming up. We do need another black for that. I think I'm going to cast a Gorging Vulture here, so I could trade with Greenwood Sentinel just naturally. We do lose Atemzis and Spectral Sailor. Those would have been good draws later. That does happen off of the Gorging Vultures. Frostlinks to tap down the Vulture. Well, there goes the chances of blocking, but we did still gain some life off of it, which was pretty important. Sky Scanner doesn't block super well, and we do need to hit our 5th mana for the Meteorite next turn. I kind of want to go double blue on Winged Words. Maybe we draw into a Swamp for Grasp of Darkness. We don't, but we do hit the land so that we know we can cast Meteorite next turn. Gotta go Plains here. Yeah, we're gonna hit pretty badly here. We're down to 8 now. Drop a Meteorite, shoot Greenwood Sentinel, then we block Frostlinks, go down 3 more life, go down to 5. Yeah, 5 mana here. I think our best play is Meteorite. Opponent seems to be stuck on 3 mana for now, but it's definitely working with an aggressive start here. They have drawn into the 4th mana. We are going to trade with Frostlinks, take 3 down to 5 life now. We have the double black for the Grasp of Darkness. Do we have the 7 for Chromium? We do, so we just pass here for sure if we have the 7 for Chromium. Can't be countered, so they attack in. We drop Chromium, block Courser. Definitely a big way to attempt to win a game out of nowhere. That is the idea behind Chromium. Brash Taunter, oh yeah. Chromium's going to get right over that. We even have the Grasp of Darkness to just kill it anyway. Just to be safe, we're going to kill it right now before they even untap, and we start hitting for 7 a turn. That's a 3-turn clock from Chromium. We can play a mighty big blocker here off Wishcoin Crab. If they try to use any removal on Chromium, we just get to discard something random like Gorman, give it hexproof. Alright, Chromium will get there. Some devastating bombs in this Esper deck. A Sonorous Howlbonder. I don't know if I've ever seen that card before. I did not play a lot of Ikoria. I really did not like that draft format. It was... I probably played it at the wrong time. A lot of the draft formats on Arena will get to where certain strategies are highly overrepresented at certain times. Like when a big streamer shows off a cool draft strategy, you can do like Clear the Mind back in Ravnica Allegiance or something like that. In Ikoria, the time that I played, I remember literally 50% of my matches were just against cycling. It was atrocious. So I just did not play that format very much at all. Alright, I'm keeping this hand because I have Winged Words to try to draw into the black mana, although it is pretty risky, because we do need double black for the hand to be, like, good. We want to, especially if we draw another Grasp of Darkness, We definitely want to be able to cast those later in the game, but we only need a single black to get a Gorging Vulture out here, at least get something, gain some life off of that, give us some more time to survive. If we hit no lands, we're very dead, especially if we draw literally all black cards. Our first 4 draws here are just black cards. Pretty great. Thrashing Brontodon will get things started for our opponent. Our first 5 draws are black cards. Now we have to even discard this turn. Guess we discard a Gormand, which is the farthest off from casting it. We need double black and we need 6 mana total. Our opponent may be having some mana issues as well. They're at 3 mana right now and they've played nothing but forests, but they could also be mono green. I've done it before, even in core set. Opponent is thinking here. They probably have a lot of options for different creatures to play or something like that. See whether or not they have the 4th mana. Looks like not yet. They're going into combat first, but maybe main phase 2 play a land. They're looking at our graveyard just to check out what's going on over here. Maybe they have a Scavenging Ooze or something. Looks like green-red from our opponent, dropping down a Heartfire Immolator. We do draw our 4th mana, but it's not black, so that'll basically do us in here. We do have 8 black sources in the deck, and we've had 8 black sources in the deck since turn 3, so 8 out of 30 cards. That's like almost a 1 out of 3 every single draw step, and we've missed 6 times in a row now. So, not great. I think Spectral Sailor probably, but I think we can win here. If we grab Aviation Pioneer, we're just not casting it this turn anyway, so we take 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 on board. Spectral Sailor is just going to be a single chump block. No, I think I'm just going to go to the next game. There's 0 reality in which I win this game at this point. Bit of a risky keep, but was really hoping for the draw spells to get us there, the Winged Words, and I knew we had more draw spells in the deck, like Skyscanner and Anticipate and stuff. We did cast the 2 draw spells. We dug to almost halfway through the deck and just none of our 8 black sources. Definitely happens. But that is going to close that game out, and we'll head into round 4. I do think that blue and black are definitely the most important colors to get the deck to function. Probably black is the #1 most important, so I probably should have taken that into factor a little more on deciding whether to mulligan. Maybe I should actually cut 1 more Plains even and go to just 2 white sources plus a Meteorite, because, again, the white mana is really only for just Chromium at the end of the game to top it all off, the cream of the crop. But I don't know. We'll see here how things go in round 4. We do have 1 black mana. We do need another for Grasp of Darkness and Gormand, but we have 1 out of 2 here. I think I'm going to go back to the drawing board after this. Gormand has been absolutely terrible every time we've seen it. Just don't have enough creatures to sacrifice to it. And Bone Splinters as well, but if we take out 2 Gormand, then Bone Splinters is more reasonable because they're not competing for creatures to sacrifice. So definitely after this game, I am 100% going to cut these Gormands and just put something else in, just anything else really. If we have anything else to swap out for. Sanitarium Skeleton plus Witch's Cauldron is going to let my opponent just go off the rails in terms of card advantage, just keep drawing cards over and over again. Seems pretty good. We're going to dig with our Anticipate. We already have our double black now. We did just draw a swamp here. So now we're just looking for the most impact play. It's probably just a 2-5 here, but that's not even that exciting. I guess we could play a diamond mare choosing black and gain multiple life off that, but that's still just a 1-3 instead of a 2-5. Yeah. Scoop up a 2-5, I guess. It's good to get all that stuff out of the way, at the very least. Definitely play another black mana so we can hold up a Grasp of Darkness. And our opponent does go ahead and sacrifice Sanitarium Skeleton to Witch's Cauldron to gain a life and draw a card. Audacious Thief coming out. I do think we want to kill that before they can draw any cards off of it. So we'll just kill it immediately. We could play just Wishcoin Crab and that'll block it well, but they do draw a card when it attacks as well. Even if it dies immediately, plus all we've seen is black mana from our opponent, so they are likely to have a good amount of removal in any deck that's heavy black. Knight of the Ebon Legion here. Aviation Pioneer, one of our best cards to combo with Bone Splinters and Gourmand. They can give that +3/+3 and Death Touch till end of turn for 3 mana. I don't think we need to kill that right now, because they don't have the 3 mana to buff it, so we can just attack for 2 here. If they want to attack at us and pay the 3 to buff it, I think that's fine. But that's a solid card to kill later for sure. And if we hit 1 mana, we get to cast a Gourmand, make them sacrifice 1 creature, potentially sacrifice that. Nightmare's Thirst, gain a life and give something -1/-1. That will kill my Thopter. So now we have less things to sack to the Gourmands, so obviously we cannot... can't cast both Gourmands, but we can cast the one with the Aviation Pioneer here. Make them sacrifice that Knight that has the equipment on it. Should have attacked first, would have gotten 1 more damage here. Got a little too excited about actually casting a Gourmand. This time I will make sure to do Gourmand post-combat, but it's possible that we just upgrade a Wishcoin Crab into a 5/5 Flying Trampler. There's a Sanitarium Skeleton. That does soak up a lot of their mana to keep doing that. We could also just secure the scene here and they don't get to keep replaying that thing. I kind of think I prefer Gourmand, because Gourmand all of a sudden I've got... well, that's surprising. I didn't expect the block here. Well, now I don't want to play Gourmand. Now I just want to be able to cast Gourmand and Bone Splinters in 1 turn if I need to do something absolutely crazy. Yeah, I'm not sure what this is here. Five mana up. We get to attack with everybody. We've drawn into a Temsis, which is fantastic. Finishing Blow, instant speed removal spell for Gourmand. We do hit them for 2, put them down to 11. Now we drop a Temsis. They've got 1 less removal spell for a Temsis, so maybe a Temsis gets to slap them around. We have 3 different mana costs right now, so maybe we could try to win with a Temsis, but far more likely that we just win with combat damage because we're hitting for 4 turns. We just hit them 3 times with this. Got a Spectral Sailor and Gourmand available here. Gourmand, sacrifice Wishcoin Crab, drops Spectral Sailor. That gets as much flying power as possible out, which is good. I am going to sacrifice the crab and keep the Spectral Sailor around, which is a little weird. Because a lot of times you would just want to sacrifice the smallest creature, and Spectral Sailor is a lot smaller than a crab, but it does have much better abilities, flying and allowing me to draw cards. We've got lethal damage in the skies right now. Our opponent is down to 7, and we have 9 flying power. Spectral Sailor will make it to 10. We have Bone Splinters and Secure the Scene to clear flyers out of the way. We could sacrifice a Spectral Sailor to get the other 2 in, or we could just just cast a Secure the Scene and turn a flyer into a 1/1 token. Demonic Embrace does make that a flyer, so it can block here. They can't really afford to attack in. I do have lethal flying damage already. I forgot to cast my Spectral Sailor. But I am still going to cast Secure the Scene here, just to solidify it. They sacrifice that to Cauldron, attack with both of these. Yep, no mana up, so that's just definite game. Forgot to play Spectral Sailor there. That was a big miss, but it doesn't matter at all. Just a brain fart there on the Sailor. That will push us up to 3-1 with the Chromium control deck. Actually, that game, the Gormans obviously performed way better than ever expected, because they just gave us more giant flying tramplers. But I'm still considering cutting them for something else. It depends on what we have in here. I don't think we have anything great, to be honest. We really don't. I kind of actually do like throwing like an Epicure in here, so we got just a big old 4/4. We don't have to sacrifice anything to play it. It's just a big old blocker. Maybe throw one of those in instead of one of the Gormans or the Bone Splinters. Just more things, more creatures to just drop out. Get rid of a... I'm going to get rid of a Bone Splinters. I don't know. We'll see. Having like 3 separate things that require us to sacrifice things actually just feels like a lot with the low creature count in this deck. Plus, all of our early game creatures we've just been wanting to trade with as soon as possible just to keep damage off of us. Alright, we have a curve here. We got that turn 1 Spectral Sailor, turn 2 Blood Burglar, turn 3 Sky Scanner. Not like an aggressive curve, but it's a curve nonetheless. Opponent starts with a Jungle Hollow, a green-black tapped dual land that does gain them a life when they play it. We have drawn into our Tranquil Cove. We'll probably just play that on turn 4, although we could play it turn 3 to make sure we get to Crab on turn 4 since Sky Scanner's just a 1/1. Not really putting any extra pressure on our opponent. Yeah, since we drew the Imp, I think we'll play that this turn and just play the Imp instead of the Sky Scanner. It does just as much damage. It's also in the sky. Seems fine to me. Our opponent's on green, black, and white here so far. Playing a Sky Scanner of their own. Imp is definitely a lot better against a Sky Scanner than a Sky Scanner is. Now we have drawn into a Chromium, so I kind of want to just do everything in my power to draw into my 7 mana to cast that and win the game off of that. So I don't think we want to attack with Spectral Sailor because we don't want to make that trade. We want this to sit here and draw cards. I think we attack with these two. We either play a Sky Scanner of our own and draw a card, or just draw a card off of Sailor. I'll play a Sky Scanner out and draw a card. Then we can attack in with that. We're okay with trading that for a Sky Scanner for a Sky Scanner. Still on 4 mana here. Haven't hit the 5th land. Once we hit 6, we have a Temsis as well. We have very good late game cards. Unfortunately, a Hunter's Edge for our opponent. We'll just clear out our Spectral Sailor as well as make Sky Scanner a 2/2, so that kind of stops any of our early aggression we had going for us. Of course, I am stuck on 4 mana even after drawing a couple cards here. I do get to cast a Wish Coin Crab. Don't think I want to attack with either of the flyers. We just attack with the ground creature. See if we get a trade off. No. Interesting. I will drop down a crab. Epicure of Blood is actually okay in this game because we do have a lifelinker out that has been chipping away at them. Of course, they're on a green deck, so at any point they're likely to get a creature big enough to block it, and they just did. A 3/3 Truffle Snout. Luckily, they don't really have anything big enough to crack in on our board, especially when we drop down a 4/4 Epicure here. And the Wishcoin Crab helps a lot with that as well. So we have time to draw into the mana needed for Atemzis and Chromium. They're going to kill our Epicure here, perhaps? Yes, Luminous Bonds on Epicure. Kind of nice to get Luminous Bonds out of the way so they can't use it on Atemzis, but even if they threw a Luminous Bonds on Atemzis, we could still use them to repeatedly draw cards. So it wouldn't be the end of the world. If they have 2 removal spells in their hand and they use the Bonds instead of something that permanently kills it, then I would be kind of sad here. Rather have them have the Luminous Bonds left over for Atemzis than anything else. Well, there's the 6th mana, although we only have 2 blue still here, unfortunately. So no Atemzis yet, but we are now 1 mana away from Chromium as well. So any mana hits Chromium, and a blue mana hits Atemzis. They're down to 12, so I think we just cast Chromium either way, because they're 2 hits until they're dead from Chromium, and Chromium we can counter anything they try to kill it with just by discarding a card. We'd obviously have to discard Atemzis if they immediately have removal, but probably worth it. Yeah, they're going to take 3 hits from Atemzis to die, and they're going to take 2 hits from Chromium to die. We can also just flash in Chromium at their end step. So sorcery speed removal doesn't work on it. On the first turn, at least. That way, if they don't have instant speed removal, we can just draw and then discard whatever we immediately drew if they try to target Chromium with removal, instead of discarding Atemzis. Definitely happy with our Wishcoin Crab this game. Holding down all these random ground creatures, like holding down this 4/4. They are setting in with a Sky Scanner here. We'll take it. We're at 27. We can go to 25 here. I don't want to put Chromium in Hard's way, because the thing you have to think about with Chromium is, while I can flash it in and then it's a 7/7 and I can just surprise kill that, and then like, sure, if they target it, I just give it hexproof. The problem with that is if I flash it in, block there, and then they play a pacifism on it, if I give it hexproof, I turn it into a 1/1 to give it hexproof, and then it's a 1/1 that's been dealt 2 damage. So if I flash in, block Sky Scanner here, Chromium dies to sorcery speed removal. That's like one of the very few ways my Chromium could actually die. So when we have 27 life, we really can't afford to put our Chromium Hard's way at all when it's so easy to just not. Like, we could just take 2 more. That's totally fine. 7, 8, 9 in the sky here. I mean, it's not going to be lethal, but might as well get in for as much as we can, because we get to cast an Atemzis as well and hold on to a Secure the Scene instead to save Chromium. Our opponent's probably not having a good day after that. I mean, Chromium just flashed it in the end step and then follow it up with an Atemzis in the main phase. Can't get much bombier than that in this format. I mean, the format is pretty bomby. Like, you do like Sublime Epiphany. That is 1 card that would be basically just as devastating as those 2 that I rolled out there. But that'll do it. We are at 4 wins and 1 loss now, so I'm very happy. Hitting 4 wins is always great. That gives us our 1,400 out of 1,500 gems back. And then, of course, we do keep all of the cards that we draft in the Premier Draft Core Sets thing, so you're basically up in value if you hit at least 4 wins. That is always a good place to be. Incredibly happy to be there with a pretty fun deck, too. Just big, balmy flyers. More of a controlling sort of strategy as well. Pretty slow stuff over here. And the only game we lost was a game where we just didn't draw any black mana all game. So we're doing pretty great thus far. See if we can't keep it up. Maybe get our first 7-win run through the Premier Draft format. Or the Core Sets format. I have 7-win several Premier Drafts before, I promise. I hit Mythic the last couple months, I swear. I don't think I'm going to hit Mythic this month, though. At the time of recording, it's like the last day of the season. I think I'm still just chilling in Diamond. We're just vibing down here. It's all good. Well, we've seen what happens when I don't have black mana in this deck, and yeah, I think this is just too risky. We have to draw a land. It could be any land, and then we're good because we play Pioneer and Winged Words, and that does help draw into the mana. But this is exactly how I lost the last game. It was a hand somewhat like this, where I was like, well, we've got Winged Words. We're going to hit black mana. And then we just didn't hit black mana for like 7 turns or something. Just didn't see a swamp until we were already dead. Well, literally didn't see a swamp, I suppose. Yeah, I'm going to have to mulligan this. It just feels too risky to me. We do have 1 black mana here. I don't know if that's enough for us with the double Grasp of Darkness. It's definitely more keepable than the last hand. I'm actually going to get rid of one of these Grasps because I want all of this mana towards casting a Temsis as soon as possible. If nothing else, we at least have the Walking Corpse on turn 2. I actually do genuinely think that this hand is less risky than the last one. Probably a net gain here. It's a very windy day today. I don't know what's going on outside. It's like tornado time, apparently. Blossoming Sands from our opponent. They are on green-white, and they gain a life when they play that. We get to drop a Diamond Mare named Black off of that and start gaining life on all of these cards. If our opponent doesn't play a creature here, we'll probably just play Walking Corpse first. Probably better to get a higher power creature out first than gain 1 extra life here. We do have a Ferocious Pup, a 0/1 that comes with a 2/2, so we're not attacking into that anymore. But we will cast a Diamond Mare on black. We have 5 out of the 6 mana needed for a Temsis, so we only need to draw 1 more. We are 3 turns away from casting it, though. If we do draw all the lands necessary. Basri's Acolyte to follow up the Ferocious Pup is pretty fantastic. Now they've got a 3/3 and a 1/2. However, they decline to attack into our field because I could block a 3/3 with a 2/2 and a 1/3, and I only lose one of those 2 cards. So they're trying to set up for even better attacks than that, which makes me pretty worried. Bristling Boar is the next card from our opponent. A 4/3 here. I don't have a 5 mana play here, so I'm not just going to run out a Grasp of Darkness here. I'd rather save it for the last possible chance. That being said, we did just draw into a 4 mana Wishcoin Crab, so now I have to choose between Wishcoin Crab or Grasp of Darkness. And that is a bit... It's a bit of a hard choice here. Wishcoin Crab definitely riskier, but if they don't have any more pumps, they've got 2 cards in hand. It does hold down the fort well. I think I'll play Wishcoin Crab. It might even draw removal, just because it's an annoying, like, large blocker, and our opponent does seem to be on an aggressive strategy, so it could maybe draw a removal spell and make sure a Temsis can survive. We do have the 6 mana for a Temsis now. Haven't seen any removal from our opponent yet, but none of our creatures on board are that devastating, so they could just be holding on to it. I think we just cast a Temsis and hope for the best there, fingers crossed, that it makes it back to our turn. If nothing else, fingers crossed that they just have a Luminous Bonds, because a Luminous Bonds does not stop its ability. Alright, looks like a Temsis is actually doing some stuff. Start hitting them for 4 a turn here. Can cast an Anticipate here, see if I draw into anything. For the main phase, we have a Gormand, Doom Dissenter, and Pacifism. None of these are that great. I kind of like just having Pacifism and being real safe here. Gormand, we like sacrifice a 2/2, we make them sacrifice a 2/2. I guess we get another 5/5 flyer out, so Gormand was actually probably the best card there. We have Grasp of Darkness, so if they try to use a Hunter's Edge to kill a Temsis, we can counter that, which is awesome. Knightly Valor, we can counter that if we shoot that right now. Is it worth it? They get a 2/2 out of this? I don't think it's worth it. I think we take the damage and then just pacify that. That way we can still use Grasp of Darkness to save our creature from a fight spell or a Hunter's Edge. Because if a Temsis stays around, we just win. So we can take 6 here and just pacify that instead, because the 2/2 doesn't really do anything. We have a 2/5. Like, we're good at blocking that. We have a Gorging Vulture here. Definitely pacify the boar. And attack with the Temsis. Arena's doing weird things on the audio front again. They can't keep getting away with it. Nothing here, it looks like. Attack in with everybody, maybe. Just kind of go for it here. Alright, trade up into a 3-3 and just block there. See what kind of tricks they have. Whatever they have, it isn't the end of the world. We're pretty high in life total, and we get to drop a Vulture down after this. +3/+3 till end of turn. Make that a 6/6. Still think, because they're not using that on the lifelinker, I think we just let it happen. Still think we hold Grasp of Darkness, because against green-white, the two kinds of removal they're most likely to have are Luminous Bonds, which we're fine with, or fight-type removal that a Grasp of Darkness can counter. Okay, I'm very happy to draw another black mana here so that I can cast Gorging Vulture and still hold up Grasp of Darkness. Be very safe. Also does give us another flying threat. They're down to 11 now, but they do gain 2 life a turn off of Baldry's Acolyte. Unless I double block. But +1/+1 on each creature they control. Okay. Lifelinker's a 3/4 now. This is not awesome. I might actually have to cast a Grasp of Darkness now. And then if they have the fight spell to kill a Temsis, I'm just sad. Yeah, I'm going to Grasp to make sure that a Temsis kills them in 3 hits by getting rid of their lifelink. Scoured Barrens to gain 1 here seems fine. We need them to not draw removal for the next 3 turns. They haven't drawn removal all game, so don't know how likely that is to happen, but that's our plan. Even if they do draw removal, we have decent blocks for what they have on board. Oh my god. We take 10 and go to 2? Oh no. Do I just lose? I hit them for 6 if I can kill that somehow, but it's got Vigilance, so I can't. Well, that's terrible. Okay, well, I can hit them for 4, so we have to draw 2 and draw into something crazy. Actually, we don't have to draw into something that crazy, we just need a removal spell. But we need a removal spell that can kill that. Oh my god. Aviation Pioneer does not do it. Well, we got Prodigious Growth Tard. +7/+7 trample. I guess if we held on to Grasp of Darkness for 1 more turn, we would have countered that, but definitely a hindsight play. The alternative was they would have gained more life and they'd have been like 4 turns away from dying to the Atemsis. With everything we knew about on board, I think we made the right play, but it obviously did not pan out in the long run, unfortunately. 4-2 it is. Whatever happens, we're still at a 4-3 win rate here. Not bad at all. Get our gyms back out of this. But I would like to rally as best as I can to possibly get our first 7-win run. Oh, all right, we're playing against a fish. This hand's pretty good. We've got our double black just immediately, and we have the Grasp of Darkness. I think it's a definite keep. These are the kind of cards that we're looking for in the early game. Just to slow things down, keep us alive long enough to draw into the big flyers. There's a Temsis. Well, we've drawn into one of them. Do need another blue mana to cast it, though, but that's all we need. We've got double blue, we've got 3. Just need 1 more blue drawn throughout this game. Our opponent starts off with triple black. Could be a mono black deck, or they could be a bit screwed on the mana front here. Drop down a Gorging Vulture, get aggressive with our flyers. Mill an Aviation Pioneer here. So we gain 1 life. I'm surprised I haven't milled a Chromium with this yet. At least I don't think I have. So we are playing against a black-white deck that is likely to be focused around life gain. As you can see from Silver Smoke Ghoul's ability, at the beginning of their end step, if they gain 3 or more life this turn, they bring it from the graveyard back to the battlefield tapped. They follow it up with an Infectious Horror. Well, Wishcoin Grab blocks that pretty well, so I think we're just going to drop that down on the board. Send in with the squad, because Wishcoin Crab blocks either of those creatures pretty well. We obviously drew into the Chromium, so we got the Dream Hand here. We've got both of the big flyers coming up. The Dream Team. And there's Angelic Gift, so we're going to need the flyers. Alternatively, we can't just grasp for darkness that thing, but our flyer's going to be big enough to deal with it, so I think I'd rather grasp something else. I think I can just trade that for like a Gorging Vulture, worst case scenario. Yeah, we don't really need to keep attacking in at this point. I suppose... Yeah, I guess I have Grasp of Darkness as a backup worst case scenario, so I'll attack with Fetid Imp at least and get in with 1 damage here. But the plan's going to be to trade Horror for the Gorging Vulture. If they use a removal spell on my thing, I'll probably use a removal spell on Horror pre-combat. Hopefully it doesn't come to that though. Alright, just cast Epicure of Blood. And a Radiant Fountain is the play from our opponent that does drain us for life, thanks to Epicure's effect. Infectious Horror is going to attack and hit us for 2 more. They have 1 colorless up, so we know that we just get to trade with Vulture. Rather do that than Grasp of Darkness that. And with a 2/5 out, I don't feel I need to Grasp of Darkness Epicure either, so I'm going to save that still. Did draw into a Pacifism, though. So now I have even more removal for scary attackers and blockers. Temsis has hit the board. If they have removal, it's coming out right now, because that card is a must-kill. Revitalize is the play, gain 3 life and draw a card. So Epicure will do 1 damage to us. We are down to 11. Still a pretty hearty life total. However, Soulmender plus Epicure is going to be a kind of devastating combo to just drain us for 1 life every single turn. I kind of think we need to Grasp of Darkness on Epicure now to stop that thing from combining together. And we do, I think, just start attacking with a Temsis. Play our Blood Burglar here. Liliana's Devotee has a pretty powerful ability here. At the beginning of their end step, if one of their creatures died, they can spend 2 mana to make a 2/2 zombie. So now they like send in the Ghoul, and I guess I can just block with a 2/5, so we're fine right now, but potentially Rise from the Grave to bring back Epicure, so they have Epicure plus Soulmender combo yet again. Seems good. Hopefully we do just have enough flying power to outrace that combo. It's only 1 damage a turn, so we should, ideally. I get to play Diamond Mare and Pacifism here. So I gain 1 life. I think I'm good to attack with both the flyers now then. They gain a life, we lose a life. Can Diamond Mare, I can choose white and immediately cast Pacifism if I want, but how do they attack in here? Attack them with the 4/1 and the 4/4, and then one of those is actually going to do something? Yeah, I think I am going to pacify the Epicure here. As much as I would love to like fully kill it and get it off the board, like we're on a 10-turn clock from this 2-card combo, so we just need to slow down the actual attacks they have to make the flyers outrace them. even if they get a flyer, I highly doubt it's as big as a 4 or 5 flyer, so it just chump blocks like one time. So I don't think we need to hold on to pacifism to stop a flyer either. There's a Blood Burglar from our opponent. That does speed up that race with the Soul Mender's ability. Soul Mender plus Blood Burglar can return Silver Smoke Ghoul from their grave to the battlefield, but obviously the Blood Burglar can't attack this turn. So not yet are they doing that combo. Gorging Vulture here, just want one more mana, that's all I want. Just want Chromium. Is that too much to ask? Probably is. Chromium's pretty insane. Send in the flyers, get another flyer out. Seems great to me. But our opponent's field is getting pretty wide now, so it's kind of scary. But we just got to do everything in our power to outrace it. Gorging Vulture definitely helps if we hit some creatures here to gain some life. And we hit 3 creatures, that's very good. They're at 8 life now, 4, 5, 6, 7 in the sky, but they can gain 3 life thanks to Blood Burglar and Soul Mender. Of course, I do get to kill the Blood Burglar when they attack with it here, so they only get to bring back the Silver Smoke Ghoul the one time. It's not like a consistent combo that they can keep bringing back the Silver Smoke Ghoul turn after turn or anything. But yeah, here Soul Mender plus Blood Burglar does return the Silver Smoke Ghoul to the battlefield. Which obviously then they can sacrifice it again next turn to get another zombie. And they get a zombie this turn because Blood Burglar just died, so their field is going quite wide. But we are still out racing it right now. Sky Scanner to draw a card does get us closer to that 7th land. Gives us another nice blocker. And I suppose at the rate they're gaining life, we don't have to cast Chromium. We can just attack with the flyers 2 more turns in a row, and that'll be lethal. Yeah, as long as we don't die off of this combat. I could be really rude here and reveal my hand. I'm gonna decline. That seems just genuinely evil. Gorging Vulture from our opponent will save them, because that can gain them some life here, and they get a flying blocker. Got open, the graves got milled. Not much else, just some lands, a dub. Attack in with some 3/2 zombies. Trade our 2/2 there, I suppose. Get those off the board. They're non-token creatures, so Devotee doesn't make one, right? No, Devotee works even with token creatures. That card's good. Alright, they've got 1 flying blocker. They're at 5 life, essentially, because they gain 1 there, so they block there, take 1, 2, 3, 4. They go to 1. Alright. I mean, they definitely survive. Do I have any life gain on the board? No, I just blocked with my 1 life gainer. If I didn't do that, Epicure would have actually finished them off here. Gorman pretty bad against their pacified creature, but I can still cast it just to have like lethal flyers out. So they go to 5. We go to 10. Attack with all these, block there, take 1, 2, 3, 4. If I play a white card, I win, but I don't. Well, with Epicure, I would win. They have 2 blockers on the ground, so attacking with the block creatures doesn't do any more damage. Or the ground creatures. Yeah, I should have left Blood Burglar around. But then I guess they could have waited to tap Soul Mender until combat, so they wouldn't die here. That would have pushed them closer. I just play a big blocker on the ground. I think Epicure should be good enough here. And now we can even win by just like casting Chromium and draining for life potentially. But Soul Mender does put them to 2, so that's unlikely. There was the concession from our opponent, so the Flyers were just too much for them, pushing us up to 5 wins and 2 losses, 1,600 gems and 4 packs. We are now getting out of this draft. It's been a great run at this point. pick one, pack one Chromium, and hang on to it for dear life is still a strategy that is viable, even when all 3 core sets are in the format. We've got our double black mana, which seems to be the most important thing. However, we need to draw a lot of mana this game, and we need to draw blue mana quickly, so this is an awkward hand. I think I'm honestly going to mulligan this. Just because of that, I do have Imp in the center here. They give us some time to stumble around. But I think I have to mulligan. This does seem better. Yeah, Winged Words here too. This hand actually does seem pretty great. We can turn 2 Winged Words even. Yeah, if I just Spectral Sailor turn 1. Probably get rid of Epicure here because it's the farthest off from getting cast, and I do like all 3 of these as our first cards. Maybe get rid of Aviation Pioneer, but definitely not getting rid of Sailor or Winged Words. If they shock our Sailor, I'm going to cry. Alright, we're good. No shock has occurred. And we've drawn the 3rd land for Pioneer already, so we know we get to cast that next turn. We have 4 mana here, so we're pretty close to Chromium. Just need to draw 3 more lands throughout this game. Yeah, this start has panned out very well thus far. We even drew an untapped Swamp for the Dissenter, so we can play that next turn. But Dissenter doesn't get really that aggressive. It just puts 1 more power on the board. It's just a good blocker. So it's entirely possible I just want to play a Swamp and draw a card off of Sailor to get closer to the 7 lands for Chromium. Just start digging for that. Opponent starts off with Kali, a Zenith Seeker. 3/3 Flying Vigilance. Pretty scary. We only have 2 flying power out now. Obviously, we can't really attack into that. I think I do just want to play an untapped land and draw with Spectral Sailor. Make sure we hit that Chromium mana. We're at 6 right now. We only need to draw 1 more land throughout this game, but even just drawing any cards off of Sailor to get more value that way is going to be good. Vigilance on this flyer is very good for our opponent as well. We've got multiple Grasp of Darknesses, Pacifism, a lot of ways we could deal with this. Just depends on what we draw off of our Sailor. Gallant Cavalry. We can deal with that with some ground blockers. We will definitely want to cast Dissenter next turn, I think. Probably can't just hold up all the mana to draw a card again next turn. Let's see what we hit here. Just another land, but that is the 7th mana that we need for Chromium. So I think we can cast Skyscanner and Doom Dissenter here, rather than use Spectral Sailor's ability. I actually have to choose between casting Doom Dissenter or having double black next turn. If I have double black, I know I get to cast a Gourmand, and then I have a 5/5 Flying Trample out, which can definitely block Kalia well, and it gets rid of one of their little 2/2s. It's probably better to just have a guarantee of getting Gourmand out next turn than spit out the 1/1. Although if we draw a Swamp, obviously it would have panned out beautifully, because then we just go Island Doom Dissenter and we sacrifice Doom Dissenter to Gourmand next turn. Containment Priest. If a non-token creature would enter the battlefield and it wasn't cast, exile it instead. So it's just a 2/2, but they have the Basri's Solidarity to make it a 3/3. This is getting very bad for us now. We can kill one of the 3/3s and then kill another 3/3 when we play Gourmand. If I triple block right here, then I triple block, they leave Aviation Pioneer on board. We sacrifice Pioneer to Gourmand. We have 1 blocker that blocks there. That just like chump blocks. We're in a painful position here. If we don't block, we take 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, go to 8. I'm not going to block. Did not draw the black mana, so I am actually glad we played the land we needed for Gourmand here. I actually would rather kill a 1/1 flyer than a 1/2 on the ground, because I think having more toughness could matter here. Although all they have to do is kill Gourmand, and then I can't kill Kalia anymore. I guess I can't kill Kalia off of a triple block anyway. Yeah, I'll sacrifice there. We kill just a 3/3 on the ground. We definitely don't kill Kalia off of this. But definitely lowers the amount of attackers coming at me here, and if they don't have removal, Gourmand can hold things off a little bit. Well, here comes the pump spell. But we're at such a low life total now that we just go for what we can kill. Oh, no pump spell. Alright, I have Aviation Pioneer and Gourmand against a 3-3. Actually pans out pretty well. Fathom Fleet Cutthroat it is, alright. Going for the big Chromium play this turn, I think. And we're at a low enough life total, we just have to make the block, even though that means that they could kill Chromium if they have a removal spell. Because we block and then they use a removal spell. And we give Hexproof, but we turn into a 1-1 to give Hexproof. I go to 2 life if I don't block there, so I'm dead to a shock, so I will chump block as well. Please, no more removal. Gravedigger, okay. Gallant Cavalry, that does go wide. That is an issue. We definitely can't attack with Chromium. Got to play as many creatures as we can. Grasp of Darkness is solid here. Kill one of their things. But we probably have to play like Fetid Imp, Doomed Dissenter here. Just get as many blockers out as possible this turn. They can only attack with a 3-3 and a 2-2 this turn. So they can't attack into Chromium very well. Can they attack into a 1-1 and a 1-2? Yes, absolutely they can. I only have to hit them 3 times off of Chromium. Can I survive attacking with Chromium every turn? If I attack with Chromium this turn, I can play Imp and Dissenter, block both, and then I just have a 2-2 blocker. That's all that's left, and they have 4 attackers. If a 2-2 blocker against 4 attackers, I can secure the scene 1, Grasp of Darkness another. I don't think I can survive attacking with Chromium right now. We have to draw into something like crazy. They're not going to attack into Chromium until after they play Gallant Cavalry, though, so I can afford to take the turn off casting these creatures rather than holding up Secure the Scene right now, though. Like, they shouldn't attack into this board, most likely. Yeah, there's the Gallant Cavalry. Now they have 4 attackers against my 3 blockers. And now we get to hold Grasp of Darkness up and still have 3 blockers against their 3 attackers. Now we get to hold Grasp of Darkness and Fetid Imp's ability up. So if I hit for 7, I have 2 blockers and a Grasp of Darkness. Fetid Imp trades into the 3-3. So we kill the 3-3, we kill a 2-2. We block there, take 2. I go to 3 life. I have a 2-2. They have 2 2-2s. I have a 2-2 against 2 2-2s. They're down to 11. We just have to draw into cards no matter what goes on here. I guess with like Secure the Scene at our disposal too, it's probably better to hold off and hope that we draw into like another Gourmand or something. Atemsis, obviously also pretty insane. Meteorite actually really good here. Well, no, not really good here. We don't need the mana from Meteorite anymore, so that just kills like one of their things. Griffin Protector is pretty threatening. Probably going to have to grasp that. Could even just Secure the Scene that. So I get to hold Grasp longer. I'm going to grasp it. Firmly grasp it. Head to our turn. If I attack in, I no longer have a grasp, so I'm taking 4 no matter what, and if they have a removal spell, I'm dying immediately. If I don't attack in, they can't attack in well. Battle Rattle Shaman. That's actually very good right now. Can't make something big enough to kill Chromium, but it can make it quite big. Battle Rattle targeting itself for fun. Going to our turn now. We have a Pacifism. I can cast a Pacifism and to Secure the Scene. And then they have 3 2-2s and a 1-1. 3 2/2s and a 1/1. Block the 1/1 with our 1/1, block a 2/2 with our Fetid Imp. We end up with a 2/2 and they have a 2/2. Right? Kill, kill. 3 2/2s, 1/1. Kill, block. They end up with 2 2/2s against 1 2/2. They attack with all that. We only have 2 blockers. We take 4 if we try to kill one of those. I still think we can't attack. I think I secure Battle Rattle Shaman just because its ability is good here and still hold on to pacifism. But their board is wide enough to hit us for 3 here, which is really bad. They could just all attack 2 turns in a row and we're having a terrible time. Pacifism for Squad Captain. Glad I still have that at least. Yeah, just all attack twice here and it's not good for us. So this way, we kill that, and that. They have 2 2/2s and a Squad Captain. We can pacify the Squad Captain and we'll end up with a Chromium and a 2/2. Chromium blocks there, 2/2 blocks there. We have actual blocks next turn this way. We're always playing under the assumption that they have nothing because if they have anything, we're mega dead regardless. Anointed Chorister makes it lethal. They only have to hit in for 1, so we have to draw a creature here. And that can turn into a 4/4. Just hit a land. That's going to end it for us. Unfortunate game. It ended in a top deck war, and in the classic top deck war sense, our opponent drew 3 more non-lands than us. We have 10 lands, they have 7 lands. Simple maths, they have defeated us by 3 cards, essentially. But they did always have us on the back foot this game. So definitely well played and well drafted from our opponent. But unfortunately, that will end the Chromium Atemsis Ultimate deck run at another 5-win. That seems like the best I could do in this format. I guess I 6-winned the first draft. So 1,600 gems, 4 packs, not bad at all. Certainly a lot better than I have gone in this format recently. Pretty fun deck to play around with there, getting the Elder Dragon himself. Chromium and Atemsis as well. Kind of a fun card to play around with. Definitely won us some games as well. But that will end today's draft video. If you enjoyed, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, all of those good things that help YouTube recommend the video to yourself and others more often. And at the end of the video, as always, I would like to thank you all very much for watching. And next up, we have Arena Cube Draft starting April 2nd, and then Strixhaven in like April 14th or 15th or 16th or something, somewhere around there. I don't remember exactly when Strixhaven has come out. So stick around for that if you're interested. And as always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again tomorrow.